Hello and happy holidays. It's Shea Bletchenden here, and I'm excited to present to you a short video of a few golf swings of some of the very best players in the world. As we move forward into the spring and summer of 2012, I know that you'll all be motivated to go out and improve your game, and today we'll look at a few cornerstones of technique that I believe will make you better ball strikers, will give you more distance, and certainly more directional control. I wish to you and yours a very happy, healthy, and safe holiday season. Enjoy. Alright, we're going to start our segment today with alignment and aim. Here's Phil Mickelson at Augusta during the Masters. By the way, some of these videos, I'm not quite sure where they came from or where I got them. This one may be from Dave Phillips at TPI, so I'm not trying to steal your stuff, Dave. Just wanted to give you credit where credit is due. Okay, so taking a look at Phil here, we can kind of look at where his feet are pointed. We can look at where his shoulders are pointed. Maybe taking a look at where his hips are going, and it kind of looks like if we draw a line parallel to those, that he's aimed down about the center of the fairway. Now, of course, camera angles can play tricks with our minds, but we'll go ahead and watch him take a swing here. See the ball take off, and we do see the ball taking off pretty much right down the middle of the fairway. So that's good alignment there. This is what we want to see. And remember, it's not just where your feet are or where your shoulders are, but it's a combination of everything. You are going to see some differences from player to player. Okay, now we're looking at Mark O'Meara on the same hole, actually, and we're seeing something a little bit different here. I'm drawing a line across his feet, across his shoulder line, and his forearm line, and it kind of looks to me, if we're going parallel, that he is aimed at the right tree line or perhaps in the right rough. And let's go ahead and watch the swing here real quick and see where that ball takes off. And what you're going to see is, indeed, that ball is taking off as if it's going to go into the right rough. This is where you got to be careful when you analyze swings, because I've been lucky enough to actually play with Mark, and this is not a mistake. Mark hits a right to left draw every time that he hits a golf ball. So his ball may be starting at the right trees, but it will curve in the air and come back and probably land right in the center of the fairway or right center of the fairway. So he's actually aiming on purpose, knowing that his normal ball flight is going to be a right to left ball flight. All right, now we've got Freddie Couples here on the screen for us, and Freddie's a very unusual as far as top level players go. If we take a look at where his feet appear to be aimed and where his shoulders and upper body and forearms seem to be aimed, he's very, very what we call open to the target. Now, although the center of the fairway is probably more along this line, it looks like he's aiming way left, but he doesn't really swing completely the same way that other golfers do, and you'll see that as his ball takes off. It's just slightly left of the line that I drew there. So here's a good example of somebody who has what would normally be considered bad aim, but he certainly is one of the top players in the world. All right, we're going to finish off here with Tiger Woods, who has really pretty good technique most of the time, as far as being a person whose golf swing you could study and learn something from. He's certainly probably the best player in history. So let's take a look and see what he's got. And as I draw some lines here, you can kind of see the direction that his feet and his knees and maybe hips, shoulders, forearms, everything there kind of matches. You don't see that from too many players in the world. They usually have little inconsistencies, but Tiger's pretty squared off here. And once again, like Mark O'Meara, it appears as though parallel to that deal there, it looks like he's going to be hitting down the right side of the fairway. And indeed, the ball, when it takes off, we do see it taking off down the right. I believe this is hole number, I think it's 3 or 4 at Augusta, which is a short par 4, probably almost drivable. So when Tiger likes to hit it hard, he likes to hit a draw. And certainly you can see the ball's taking off on the right side here. So even though it appears as though he's misaimed, I'm sure he's playing for a nice little hook, trying to hit it far down the fairway as he can. And There you go. So as far as alignment goes, really work yourself in front of a mirror on the range or even at home and see if you can't get things squared up. All right, we're moving on to the next segment, which is what I call divots. This is Grant Wade out in the Palm Springs area, and what I want you to notice is inside the red circle here, where the golf ball is, as he strikes the ball, you can see a big chunk of dirt and grass flying out, and of course where he was hitting is a nice little area there that's been completely scalped of grass, and just even looking around you can see other areas in the screen here where people have hit where the grass is gone. And one of the things that I think is just vitally important to hitting a golf ball is making sure that we get under the ball by hitting down into the grass just a little bit. Okay, here's Mr. Rich Beam, and once again as he gets ready to strike this shot here, the club is coming down and you can watch the little explosion of dirt and grass flying up, where he's definitely not scooping upward as he strikes the ball. He is penetrating into the ground, hitting down on the ball. All right, here's once again Palm Springs area Mike Weir. We haven't heard too much of lately, but I'm sure will reassert himself into the golf scene. As he strikes the ball, once again, you can see the club penetrating the ground just a little bit. Doesn't have to be a huge divot. You can see some splashing up there of dirt and sand and grass hitting down on the ball. Absolutely important for any shot other than a ball that's on the tee. And our last player we'll look at for divots is David Toms here. Once again, as he strikes the ball, you see the area where the ball was, and there's certainly some divots here right along the ground. You can see divots behind him, and you see all this salt and pepper speckling on the ground. You know, PGA Tour event, you can see the best players in the world. There's certainly something they have in common, and that is hitting into the ground. So with an iron, you definitely want to be shaving some grass, taking a divot. Fairway woods, hybrids, maybe not taking a divot, but certainly getting under the ball, certainly brushing the grass at the very least, and maybe slicing or skimming a little of the grass off. Good luck with your divots. All right, our next topic today is going to be turning. This is Michael Campbell. And as you see the beginning of the swing here, we don't see his back at all. We can see the front part of his body. We do not see the back part of his body, obviously. Now when he completes his turn at the top of his backswing, all of a sudden now I can see his right shoulder and his left shoulder. I see the center of his back. I also see some nice little wrinkles on his shirt here, and those wrinkles are indicative of the stretching and coiling of his body. So you notice he starts the backswing. We see the front of his body. Finishes the backswing. We're seeing a good portion of the back of his body. We also talk about shoulder turn. Now his shoulders, of course, are facing the ball at the beginning of the swing. At this moment, his shoulders have turned approximately 90 degrees to that. And by the time he's finished, he's got a very, very big shoulder turn, 120 degrees or so. Also, we talk about turn. It's not just the shoulders that turns, it's the hips. Once again, belt line there. You can see his hips start there. By the time he finishes the swing, his belly button and belt buckle are pointing back this way. So we're not keeping the hips completely still. They're turning along with the rest of the body. All right, this is Nick Faldo. Slightly different camera angle, and even though the camera's a little behind him, at the top of his backswing, we still see a good portion of his back. See lots of wrinkles. It looks like when you take a towel and you wring it out and it gets all those little levels and layers and striations in it. That's what his vest looks like here at the top of the swing. And not just the shoulders. Once again, notice the lower body. It doesn't stay still. It turns back, and as he turns, this left leg breaks inward. Notice where his shoulder is, well behind the ball over the right side of his body, and even his head has turned. Taking a look at the head, as he goes back, he turns his head to allow his spine to allow his shoulders to come all the way around. Nice big full turn here from Nick Faldo. This is an interesting swing here. This is Sandy Lyle, And what you're going to see here is a very short backswing. So I'll take him on back. You'll notice that as he finishes the end of his swing, his club never gets more than about 3/4. It looks like a sand wedge shot. But although this swing is pretty short, once again, look at the rotation of his shoulders. That is a very, very big shoulder turn. Look at the wrinkles on the shirt. Look at where his back is. It's certainly well more than 90-degree shoulder angle. So just having a big turn doesn't necessarily mean it's a big swing. Here's a nice, short, compact swing, but certainly tons of power being stored up on the backswing. So that's what a good turn looks like.